Hello, my name is Brianna Owens and I'm a SMARTamp champ with the cohort for 2015. By now you've heard all about SMARTamp and you've heard about how it works in a classroom and how great it is for students and for teachers. But today I want to talk to you a little bit about why it's so important to me. And as a teacher, I've had the great privilege to work with various levels of students and grades from preschool all the way to 5th grade. And I'm a special needs teacher and also a bilingual and TESOL endorsed teacher. So what that means is I work with students with various abilities, lots of disabilities ranging from emotional disturbances to autism to high spectrum autism. They used to be considered Asperger's, as well as students with specific learning disabilities. And in addition, I also work with students who might or might not have disabilities and who are learning a second language for the first time. So a lot of them in the state that I work at, New Mexico, are either Spanish bilingual students or Navajo bilingual students, which means that we don't necessarily speak their native language and it's not a written language in order for them to use a lot of the common accommodations that you would see for bilingual students. So why I love SMARTamp is because my goal as a teacher is, and I really believe that all students can learn, and that this is a great tool to give students the accommodations they need so that all students can be learning regardless of what level they're at. And there's a lot of really great accommodations and modifications that are built into SMARTamp. So this is really why this product works for my kids in particular, where other products really fall short. And I've had the great privilege to work in different settings, from small group to one-on-one to inclusion settings. And I've learned a lot about what works, but mostly what doesn't work. And so what I really like about SMARTamp is that it has a lot of built-in accommodations to make learning accessible to all students regardless of the level that they're coming in at. So first off, it's multilingual, and it gives some kids it gives all kids a voice, but some of them for the first time. There's a lot of products out there that are meant for bilingual kids, but like I said, in New Mexico, there's not always a way to reach our kids with bilingual needs because, again, their languages might be Native American languages, and so they're not written languages, they're only spoken. So by adding things like the picture feature, you can do web searches with various languages, and then with the Smart Exchange as well, there's a way for kids to access the curriculum so they can input their answers. And I want to kind of show you what that looks like. So they can input their answers. For example, if you're working on the letter A, you can help them to spell out apple, and then they can work through on the Smart Exchange or the web. They can be inputting things for the first time at their own level, where other kids might be inputting words and things, and it makes it multilingual. Also, there's modified methods of contributing. So students can be writing. Some are writing with a stylus, some with their fingers, some are working on typing, and others are just even inputting pictures right now. So they're all working at their level, but they feel like they can contribute and be part of the class and be part of something. Whereas most classes, you see 3 or 4 kids raising their hands and they're running the class. With this tool, you as a teacher can see what they're inputting, but kids are more willing to, and so they can see what they're contributing and they feel like they're meaningful towards the class lesson. Also, lots of learning at many grades and levels at a time. So I've worked with so many levels. Right now I'm currently teaching 3rd through 5th grade special needs students, but they're all working on such different concepts and Common Core state standards, and they're also working on various IEP goals. So this allows me as a teacher to have each kid inputting at their own level. One kid might come in and be typing an entire sentence, where another kid might be inputting a picture or just simply making a drawing. For example, one kid might just be working on writing his name, and that's a big thing and that's important to him, and he's able to contribute in one workspace with his peers and still feel meaningful and still feel like he's contributing. The next portion is the fine motor skill development and social skill development, and I've had the great privilege of working with my school social workers and occupational therapists. One of my kids, for example, is using a stylus, and he's very hesitant to do any writing. He really dreads it, to be honest. but he's excited to write on here because he's actually contributing to the class lesson with his peers. For him, maybe, one of the lessons, and you'll see it on my YouTube channel, is 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes, and he's able to use his pen tool that we came up with the occupational therapist to help draw 2-dimensional shapes. And so he's really excited to be contributing along with his peers who might be typing in the difference between 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes. So it allows that learning at different levels. The other big piece is the social skill development. And especially with my kids with autism, many tend to be very hesitant to share or have social interactions with their peers. And so with the messaging feature, and if I had it on, you could see, but they're able to safely contribute to a conversation and be part of a collaborative space, for some of them for the first time, because that social piece is just not as high as it might be in a general education student. So it creates a safe place for them to contribute, share their ideas, be talking and taking ideas from their peers in a really non-threatening way. So for some of them, it's the first time that they're really contributing and working on group projects where they're actually talking about it with their peers, which is really cool as an educator to see. And then the next portion is that it's engaging and non-threatening. So it's really fun. My kids come in and they want to know when we're going to do SMARTamp, and they're really excited to use this product because it means more technology time for them, and it's kind of an interactive way for them to engage with the lessons. They love that. But it's also very non-threatening, which means that all the kids are able to contribute together, work on something at their own levels, and they feel powerful. They feel like they have a voice. They feel like they can chat and contribute without that fear of rejection or a lot of the other barriers that are created in a general classroom where you would see just voice talking. And then the last is the built-in accommodations and modifications to meet those IEP needs. So that this has various tools. You can text in, you can write in, you can draw in, you can add YouTube videos, you can add online web content. So as a teacher, you can build in those accommodations to meet those IEP needs, and you can be having students work on what they need specific help with while also being part of the class and contributing to the greater whole of something. So what I love about this is that I've seen a lot of barriers for my students, and one of my biggest goals as an educator is to try to find tools and tricks to help my students to learn different, but to meet them where they are and bridge that gap between what a regular classroom looks like and where my students' learning needs are. And this gives a great tool for kids to contribute, to be part of something, to engage in learning at whatever level they might be at. And so I really advocate for SMARTamp because it's a great tool to make sure that all children can learn in whatever classroom that they might be part of.